Nobody told you this, and by saying what I am about to say, I'm not making any friends. But first, let's head to a better place to explain everything better. Every productivity guru, every hustle culture account, every motivational page telling you to just wake up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning and suffer your way to success. All of it selling you the same lie. That focus is a mindset game. That if you just want it badly enough, if you grind harder, sleep less, drink enough cold brew to power a small country, you will eventually break through. That is completely wrong. And I know it's wrong because I used to believe it's the same way. I used to sit at my desk for 12 hours and produce about 3 hours of actual work. I used to run on 4 hours of sleep thinking that was the badge of honor. I generally thought being tired was a personality trait. The problem was never the effort. The problem was biology, and nobody was talking about that. My name is Ginger, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. I'm someone who figured it out through the hard way, through trial and error and a lot of failed experiments that shall remain private. I run every 2 days. I hit the gym every 2 days. I create content for you. And I run my business. All at the same time, consistently. Not because I'm Superman or something like that. I'm very clearly not, like you can see. But because I build a system that makes all of this possible without falling apart. Today, I'm going to give you this exact blueprint, step by step, not motivation, blueprint. So stay with me and watch the video to the end. So look, let me paint you a very clear picture of what most people's day actually look like today. You wake up, phone is the first thing you touch. Before your brain has even fully loaded, you already handed it to the algorithm. You scroll for 15 minutes telling yourself, yeah, it's just a quick check. But to be honest, it is never a quick check. We all know it's not a quick check, and yet we are calling it a quick check. Then you sit down to work. An hour in, you have switched tasks for 6 times. Checked your emails for 4 times, open a tab you immediately forgot about. Done a lot of movement, but produced nearly nothing. But by 3, your brain feels like wet cement. You cannot make a simple decision without it taking twice as long as it should. You are tired, but you also cannot switch off. You're somehow both exhausted and wired at the same time. And by the way, that's a terrible combination. I do not recommend this to anyone. So you are going to work late to make up the unproductive hours. You skip the gym because there's simply no time left. So you sleep badly and you do it every single day. And then you look around and wonder why people next to you seem like moving faster, building more, winning more, looking rested while doing this. Most people think that is just what work feels like. But let me tell you something, it is not. That is what a brain without a system feels like. And the fix is not what you think it is. Now let me tell you what the other side feels like. And I want to be upfront with you. This took me time to build. It didn't happen in a week, but I wish it would, but it didn't. But once it clicked, everything changed. You wake up before your alarm, not because you set free backup alerts and panicked your way out of bed. Because your body actually wants to wake up. Your first hour belongs entirely to you, solely to you. No phone, no notifications, no algorithm deciding what your brain thinks about before you have even had a coffee. You sit down to work and you drop into a flow within 10 minutes. Not 2 hours of warming up, making tea, reorganizing your desk for the 40th time and calling it preparations. 10 minutes. And when you are in it, you're already in it. So you train, not as a punishment, not to burn off last night's dinner. Well, sometimes that too. But because you understand that your workout is literally building the brain you need to perform at the same level you want. You create content, you work on the business, you do all of it, and you still have energy at the end of the day. That's not fantasy, that's a system, and here is exactly how it works. Here's the first thing nobody told us. Inside your brain there are 2 networks. Think of them like a seesaw. One side, the focus brain. When it's activated, your brain is locked in, thinking clearly, producing real work, feeling like a functional adult human being. On the other side, your daydreaming brain. When it's activated, your mind is wandering. You are thinking about what to eat for lunch, replaying an argument from 2 days ago, planning a holiday you're strictly not going to take. We all have planned a holiday. Here's the key thing. When one side goes up, the other side goes down. They cannot perform both at the same time. And here's a slight problem. Most people's daydreaming brain is completely dominated right now because years of scrolling and consistent notifications and jumping between 17 tasks has trained it to always be switched on. So when you sit down to do focused work, your focused brain tries to be activated. But the daydreaming brain is so strong, it just keeps pulling the seesaw back down. And you sit there wondering why you cannot concentrate for more than 4 minutes before thinking about something completely unrelated. You're not broken. Your seesaw is just completely unbalanced. And here is what rebalances it. Visual focus before any work session. 60 seconds. Look at any fixed point on your screen. Do not move your eyes. Just hold it there. That is your brain's biological signal that focus mode is starting. It works before you have even typed a single word. 60 seconds, and it generally changed the whole thing. Second, remove the attention residue. Every time you switch tasks without a proper break, your brain leaves the previous task running in the background. Like browser tabs you forgot to close, and now your laptop is making noise like a helicopter. The fix? Stand up between tasks. Walk somewhere, drink water. 2 minutes of actual nothing before you start the next thing. 2 minutes saves you an hour of half-present distracted work every single day. Now here's where I'm genuinely not making friends with this hustle culture crowd. You cannot think your way to peak focus. You have to sweat your way there. And before you click off now, I'm not asking you to become a professional athlete. I am talking about something very specific that I do every 2 days, and that changed my mental performance more than any productivity system I ever tried. I hit the gym every 2 days. No excuses. Consistency. Do I always feel like to do this? Heck no. There have been days I walked into the gym looking like I personally need a gym to carry me home. But I walked in. Here is why it matters, beyond just looking less terrible in photos. When you do aerobic exercises, running, cycling, anything that gets your heart rate up, your brain releases something called BDNF. I know it sounds like a government agency, but bear with me. BDNF is literally a fertilizer for your brain. It causes the part of your brain responsible for focus, decision making, and complex thinking for physical growth, not metaphorical, actual growth. Every run I do is an investment in my ability to think clearly for the next 24 hours. That is the reason I do it. Well, and the fact that sitting all day long at my desk doing nothing physical makes me deeply isolated and apparently makes me difficult to be around. So there's it. Now here's what the gym does that running does not. When your business is stressful, when the decisions are hard and the stakes are very high, the mental tension builds up in your body. It sits there quietly, making you reactive and foggy and unable to think straight. Heavy lifting is where this tension goes. You walk in carrying the weight of whatever problem you're working on. You walk out lighter, not because the problem is solved. I create content, I run my business. I run every 2 days. I lift every 2 days. All of it gets done, not despite the training, but because of it. Most people run the machine until it breaks, then wonder why everything stopped working. Let me tell you, maintain the machine, everything else gets easier. Now let me pull both pieces together. The focus system and the fitness routine are powerful on their own, but when you stack them inside what I call monk mode, something completely different happens. Monk mode is not a personal type. It is not moving to a cabin in the woods and refusing to speak to anyone for 3 months. Although, I will be honest, some weeks that sounds generally like a solid good plan. It's a defined period, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, whenever fits your life, where you go completely all in on one thing. The noise gets removed. Social events that do not serve you go on a pause. The scroll drops to almost nothing. The environment is built entirely around what you're building. And here's why it works. Your brain can completely prioritize on one thing at a time. Not 3, not 7, one thing. Every extra commitment, every extra distraction, every extra thing pulling at your attention is diverting a resource that cannot be diverted without losing quality anywhere. Monk mode is just choosing to stop diverting it. You run, the BDNF keeps your brain sharp. You lift when your stress builds, so it does not cloud your thinking. You do 60 seconds of visual focus before every session. and you protect your environment like the results depend on it. Because they do. 4 to 8 weeks of this, generally that's all, produces more than most people produce in a full year of scheduled 0.5% effort. The compound effect of this is generally what people are surprised about. The fitness feeds the focus feeds the outputs feeds the confidence feeds the motivation to train, and the loop, once it's running, becomes self-sustaining. That's the winning bubble, and once you're inside of it, you will look back how you used to operate and generally not understand how you survived it. Now look, if you want a complete step-by-step system that takes you from scattered and mentally trained to locked in and actually operating at your ceiling, I put together something called Dopamine Shutdown Academy. 21 days, everything mapped out. The reset phase, where you stop bleeding. The rebuild phase, where you start rewiring. The lock-in phase, where your new standards become the actual default. This is the system I wish someone has handed me 3 years ago, instead of another motivational video that feels amazing for 40 minutes and then changes absolutely nothing. $17, 7-day money-back guarantee. No question asked. Link below. See you inside. So nobody told you this. Not our schools, not our parents, not the 10,000 motivational accounts we all have followed at some point before realizing they're just telling us the feeling of process without any actual process. The focus is biological. The fitness is cognitive. The winning bubble is not luck, that's talent. It is a system, and that system can be built. So I see you inside of the Dopamine Detox Academy. And like always, I'm rooting for your success.